Could a human ever run at 100 kilometers per hour? What about 1,000 kilometers per hour? Or even the speed of light?
The fastest human ever traveled faster than a rifle bullet. Yet compared to the universe itself, that achievement is almost insignificant.
Today, we're exploring the absolute limits of human speed, from the capabilities of our own bodies to the fastest journeys ever made, and ultimately to the fundamental laws of physics that define what is and isn't possible.
How fast can a human really go? Let's begin with the most fundamental engine available to us, the human body.
Human legs are remarkable products of evolution, but they weren't designed for extreme speed. They were designed for endurance.
The average person walks at around 5 kilometers per hour. A trained distance runner can maintain 10 to 15 kilometers per hour for long periods. Humans excel at covering vast distances efficiently rather than producing short bursts of explosive speed.
Even the fastest human ever recorded, Usain Bolt, reached a top speed of just 44.7 kilometers per hour. That's impressive for a two-legged primate, but it's nowhere near the 120 km per hour sprint of a cheetah.
Why? The answer lies in anatomy and physics.
A cheetah's flexible spine functions like a giant spring, dramatically increasing stride length and allowing long periods where all four paws are off the ground. Humans evolved differently. Walking upright on two legs is incredibly energy efficient, but it sacrifices raw speed.
Our muscles also generate enormous amounts of heat during maximum effort. At some point, the body simply cannot cool itself quickly enough. Push beyond that limit, and vital systems begin to fail.
This trade-off was not a flaw in our evolution. It was our survival strategy.
Early humans rarely survived by outrunning predators. Instead, they practiced persistence hunting. By tracking prey for hours under the hot African sun, humans could exploit something many animals couldn't: exceptional endurance and efficient cooling through sweating.
While faster animals exhausted themselves, humans simply kept moving. We evolved to outlast the world, not outrun it. But what if future technology changes that? Advances in biotechnology, genetic engineering, and cybernetics may eventually allow humans to alter muscle density, skeletal structure, and heat management systems. Perhaps one day enhanced humans could sprint at 60 or even 80 kilometers per hour.
For now, however, biology imposes a hard limit. When nature reaches its ceiling, human ingenuity takes over. Machines exist because humans constantly refuse to accept their limitations. To move faster, we replaced muscle with engines. On land, speed quickly encounters powerful enemies: friction and air resistance.
Formula One cars demonstrate how engineering can fight both. Their aerodynamic designs generate massive downforce, pushing the tires into the track and allowing speeds exceeding 350 kilometers per hour.
But as velocity increases, drag becomes increasingly brutal. Double your speed, and aerodynamic resistance increases roughly fourfold. Eventually, the atmosphere itself becomes the main obstacle. To go faster, we leave the ground.
Commercial airliners cruise comfortably above most weather at roughly 900 kilometers per hour. The thinner air at high altitude dramatically reduces drag, making these speeds practical.
Military fighter jets push much further, but they reveal a different problem. The machine is no longer the weakest link. The pilot is.
During high-speed maneuvers, pilots experience extreme G-forces. At 9 Gs, the body effectively feels 9 times heavier than normal. Blood begins pooling in the legs, making it difficult for the brain to receive oxygen.
Without specialized G-suits that compress the lower body and force blood upward, pilots can lose consciousness within seconds.
At this stage, engineering is not limited by engines. It is limited by the human body inside the cockpit. As speeds continue increasing, another challenge emerges. The atmosphere itself begins fighting back.
Near Mach 1, the speed of sound, air molecules can no longer move aside quickly enough. Pressure builds ahead of the aircraft, creating shock waves that erupt outward as a sonic boom.
Beyond this point, the challenges become extreme. Supersonic and hypersonic flight generate enormous friction and heat. Surfaces can reach temperatures capable of weakening metal and damaging critical systems. An unprotected human exposed to these conditions would not survive. Advanced materials, aerodynamic designs, and protective structures become essential.
The faster we travel, the more technology must shield us from the consequences of our own speed. Yet even the atmosphere has limits. To truly go fast, we must leave Earth entirely.
Earth's atmosphere is only one barrier. Gravity is another. Every object on Earth sits at the bottom of a deep gravitational well. Escaping it requires far more than simply flying higher. A spacecraft must achieve escape velocity. For Earth, that speed is 11.2 kilometers per second, over 40,000 kilometers per hour.
At that velocity, an object possesses enough kinetic energy to permanently overcome Earth's gravitational pull without additional propulsion. Reaching such speeds demands enormous amounts of energy. Rocket launches are essentially controlled explosions. Thousands of tons of fuel are burned to accelerate a relatively small payload beyond the atmosphere and into space.
This effort produced the fastest humans in history. The record belongs not to a race car driver or fighter pilot, but to the crew of Apollo 10. In May 1969, astronauts Thomas Stafford, John Young, and Eugene Cernan completed a critical lunar mission that served as the final rehearsal before the moon landing.
As they returned to Earth, gravity accelerated their command module during the long journey home. By the time they entered Earth's atmosphere, they reached approximately 39,900 kilometers per hour.
No human has ever traveled faster. The return was incredibly violent. Air molecules ahead of the spacecraft compressed so intensely that temperatures around the heat shield exceeded 2,700 degrees Celsius.
The surrounding plasma became so hot that radio communication temporarily disappeared entirely. More than half a century later, Apollo 10 remains humanity's ultimate speed record.
But that record depends on how we choose to measure motion, and that leads us to a surprising realization.
Imagine sitting perfectly motionless in a chair. It feels like you're not moving. Physics tells a different story. Earth rotates on its axis at speeds reaching roughly 1,600 kilometers per hour near the equator.
At the same time, Earth orbits the Sun at more than 107,000 kilometers per hour. Yet the motion doesn't stop there. The Sun itself is racing around the center of the Milky Way at approximately 828,000 kilometers per hour.
Even our galaxy moves relative to countless other galaxies throughout the universe. The idea of being completely stationary is largely an illusion. Motion depends entirely on your frame of reference. From one perspective, Apollo 10 represents the fastest humans ever traveled. From another, every person on Earth is already moving through space at extraordinary speeds without even noticing. The universe is a place of constant motion. Nothing truly stands still. And this raises an even bigger question. If we're already moving so fast, how fast could we ultimately travel?
At first glance, reaching the stars seems like an engineering challenge. Build better engines, develop better fuels, create more powerful spacecraft. Problem solved. Unfortunately, nature has imposed a much deeper restriction.
The ultimate barrier is built directly into space-time itself. Albert Einstein's famous equation, energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, revealed a profound relationship between mass and energy.
As an object with mass accelerates closer to the speed of light, the energy required to continue accelerating rises dramatically. Closer and closer to light speed, the required energy grows toward infinity.
That creates a fundamental problem. No matter how advanced a civilization becomes, no finite amount of energy can accelerate a massive object all the way to the speed of light. The limit isn't technological, it's physical. The speed of light, approximately 300,000 kilometers per second, appears to be the universe's ultimate speed limit. Massless particles, such as photons, can travel at that speed. Objects with mass cannot.
This means humanity's greatest challenge may never be building a faster engine. It may be finding creative ways to work within the rules of the universe itself. The fastest runner reaches roughly 45 kilometers per hour. Commercial aircraft travel around 1,000 kilometers per hour. Apollo astronauts reached nearly 40,000 kilometers per hour. Yet even that astonishing achievement is insignificant compared to light itself. A beam of light could circle Earth more than 7 times in a single second. Compared to the universe's true speed limit, humanity is still taking its first steps.
The story of human speed is really the story of human ambition.
Every limit we've encountered, from muscles and heat to gravity and atmospheric drag, has inspired us to push farther. Sometimes we overcome those barriers with technology. Sometimes we discover that the barrier is woven directly into the fabric of reality, but the pursuit continues.
From ancient hunters crossing the savannah to astronauts crossing the void between worlds, humans have always searched for ways to go farther, faster, and beyond what once seemed possible. The real question isn't simply how fast we can travel. It's how far the laws of physics will allow us to push the boundary. If you're fascinated by the hidden laws, strange mysteries, and extreme limits of our universe, subscribe to Quest Hut for more science documentaries every week.
And if those limits could somehow be broken, where in the universe would you go first? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.